hear these people talking about like New Age, ascension, exiting the matrix, 5D, you're like, what the heck is that, right? And if you talk to the wrong people, like, oh, that's a cult, don't even listen to it. It's like, okay, well, whatever, right? All this hippie New Age term, I don't know what it is. It doesn't really bother me, but people can believe in what they want to. I consider myself as spiritual, right? Just like meditating, yoga, all the hippie stuff, but okay, people can believe in what they want. And then one day, actually last year, I came across this stone called Moldavite. I know it's a powerful stone. I never did like a lot of research on it. I was like, okay, well, what can a stone possibly do? And during that 1 year, it's almost like a year and a couple months now since having this stone, I went through my own awakening, like a whole ego death. It was like, what the heck is going on? So today's episode, I want to share with you what it means to go through a spiritual awakening in my own experience and how I managed to piece all this together, dealing with the chakras and crystals and all that good stuff that has nothing to do with religion in a way. So hopefully it makes sense to you. So let's get started. Timmy Do, let's go.
Audio Jungle.
I remember my very first actual real boyfriend, and I was still a sophomore in college. We dated for like 2.5 years. And then at that time, I got a scholarship to go study abroad for a full semester. And he decided that he wants to go back to Hawaii and do like a pro surfing career. So we're still young, like, okay, well, let's go our separate ways and see where it goes from there. So I came back from study abroad. It was summertime. So like, well, let me go book a one-way ticket in Hawaii and see where this leads, right? I'm not going to do anything for the summer. I might as well go to Hawaii and enjoy it with him. And so when I got to Hawaii, I stayed with him for the first 2 weeks, and I started noticing he was acting very different. He started going to church a lot, like not just like once a week, it's like 2-3 times a week, going to Bible study. For me, like I was Catholic, but you would have to drag me to go to church. And like once a year I would go for Christmas, but that was already like fresh, like I didn't want to go. So now here I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go support him. I'm gonna go sit in Bible study. But when I got there, it just did not resonate with it. Like, I don't want to read the Bible, right? It's not me. And I got to a point where it's like, oh, he's like, it's not appropriate to even sleep on the same bed. He was fasting a lot. He would call himself a reborn Christian. And he would sometimes talk about revelations and this apocalypse, this doomsday coming. And like, it kind of scared me in the way when I first experienced all this, because I had no idea what was going on and why he was so different. So long story short, after 2 months in Hawaii, I got my ticket back to Texas, and that was the end of it. So every time we like catch up throughout the years, he would always say, Tammy, are you ready to accept Lord or Savior into your life? And I'm like, no, right? And to a point where I was like, hey, can you stop bringing that up? Like, it's not me. I'm not religious. And I don't want to hear any of that, honestly, because it comes up a lot. And so, like, he respected that. So that was kind of the end of it. Fast forward. My own awakening. Last year, when I started working with a stone called Moldavite. Just to make it simple for everyone, all of you, everyone, we're going through our own journey, our own awakening. What Moldavite does, it just speeds it up like 10 times fast, right? You have a choice. You can go through your awakening, slow and steady, experience all that you have to experience in this lifetime, all the pain, all the joy, all the happiness, right? Or you can work with Moldavite and have that like 10 times fast. Honestly, this past year, I don't even recognize who I am anymore. It's like my old identity had died. Literally an ego death where I am reborn in a way. I noticed myself fasting. I would fast because my reason behind this is I learned about the chakras. Each chakra is connected to an organ. So if you're fasting, that stomach, your solar plexus, which deals with your ego, if it's not, it's tied with your intestines, right? Your digestive organs. So if you're not eating and you're not having sex, right, the lower organs, that means you're not using those organs. So the energy from the chakras, the lower chakras, can go up to your higher chakras. So every time you fast in abstinence, you can actually tune in to all these downloads that are coming in, and you would hear like your intuition like very, very loud. And I remember when I was with him in Hawaii, he was like, you know, when I fast, I hear the Lord, I hear God a lot clearer. To me, who's like not really, just like, what the heck are you talking about? But now here I am fasting, and I'm telling people, like, hey, I hear the guidance a lot clearer, right? Same, but different. And then also last December, when I was laying in bed, I did an episode on this. If you haven't seen it, it's called Bible Prophecy and the Awakening of the 144,000 Light Workers. I'll put the link in the bio. But I shared like December, I woke up and I hear this loud voice like, get up and go to church. And then I went to church. Like, I typically never go to church. I went to Second Baptist and I sat there and like I hear all these guidances, and it's like, go get baptized. So long story short, I got baptized that very same day. So for those who haven't seen that episode, please go watch it so that you don't feel like I'm a loony right here, right? Like, I don't just go get baptized for fun. But that was like a very dramatic day for me. And it was actually a very big day as well. So now I'm starting to think about it. It was my second baptism at Second Baptist Church. Do you think Second Baptist means second baptism? Right? The names are very similar. Like, I have no history. I don't know anything about the history of the different like branches of religion. I just caught that on. I was like, oh, well, my second baptism at Second Baptist, that's kind of synchronistic, right? So I don't know. Anybody knows the answer to that? Let me know. So here I am getting baptized and then accepting Lord our Savior into my life. And then that was like, it all started when I started working with crystals and Moldavite. And now I'm fasting. Now I'm going to church. And then I had, like before that, I had dreams and apocalypse. And it's like, okay, he's experiencing all of this, even though like I love him, right? He can believe in what he wants, but it didn't make sense to me because I haven't experienced it. So now here I am going through my own awakening, but like accelerated with this stone. I'm having apocalyptic dreams. I'm fasting because I can hear the guidance clearer as the energy from my lower chakra is not being used. Here I am going to church. Here I am talking like the hero's journey, going through an ego death and being reborn, right? That sounds very familiar to me. I didn't connect the two until mid through the year. I was like, wait a minute. Why is everything I'm experiencing very similar to what he experienced when he went through his awakening, which I had no idea what it's all about. So here I am talking about an ego death, right? Here's how I managed to piece together. We are all on this journey in life. And one day you're gonna have this calling. Hey, it's time for you to accept your call. Go fulfill what you're meant to do. So you have one or two choices. One, you listen, or two, you don't. 7 years financial advisor, I did not listen. Even though like I had so many dreams I wanted to fulfill, I didn't listen. Which one day the universe was like, all right, Tammy, it's time for you to like answer your call. We're not playing around anymore. Boom. Totaled my car, a deer jumped out. The funny thing is, the deer is known as the messenger of the gods. If you look into the legends and myths of what a deer represents, it means a messenger from the gods. I didn't connect that to until like recently, early this year. So I'm like, okay, There's a lot of synchronicities here, right? So you can actually go through your life, and if you're not gonna listen, you're gonna, when people listen, they have a near-death experience, basically. They see their whole life review. It's like, oh shoot, I better get my act together. I gotta go find out what's purposeful, what I'm meant to do in life, right? My life's meaning. So that's one way to look at it. Another way is my car held a lot of my old energies. I literally commute a lot to work, 45 minutes to and 45 minutes back. So that's a lot of time, a lot of energy in my car. That was total. So the old energy is gone. And the funny thing is, 2 months before, my parents sold my old college car to a colleague of theirs. And then while we're in Vietnam, a month after my accident, they called my parents. They're like, hey, we got in an accident. We just want to let you know that car is also totaled. So to me, it's like, what are the chances of 2 of my cars getting totaled within the same month of each other? One, my college car, and one is my career car, So I thought that was like, okay, old energies are leaving. It's got to leave. So for those who are driving around with a very old car that holds a lot of your energy, I'm just saying it may or may not break down. That's a lot of energy that's held within your car. Just FYI. When you're going this awakening, old energies have to leave. If you look in through energy-wise, it makes so much more sense versus trying to tie it to a religion, right? Not everyone wants to hear about religion. But if you tie it to energy, it's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So that's how I managed to make all this sense to me. But the funny thing is, as I'm going, there's other route, the spiritual route, and not avoiding religion altogether. It's leading me back to religion. I find myself finding God, Jesus, Buddha, connected to my roots, which is I am rooted in this religion called Cao Dai in Vietnam, and it's a third eye religion, which is the all-seeing eye. You see all the different saints, Lady Buddha, Jesus, they're all under this third eye. The third eye is basically your sixth sense. It's right here. So that's a chakra. So when that is open, you see everything. So through this whole awakening, my old ego self as a financial advisor is gone, right? I let my licenses lapse. That's gone. Now selling crystals, which is my name. Tammy Ngao, middle name in Ngao means Vietnamese is crystal. Last name Doe as a deer, Doe. And here I am totaling my car with a deer. So that's another way if you want to find out your purpose. Figure out your name, what your name means. Because your name will fulfill, that's a purpose you're on the path for. That is your life's purpose. And if you want a fast track to your unfolding your purpose, get yourself a Moldavite, because that will only accelerate your journey. And so I always resort, I'm gonna do another episode on this, the hero's journey. Take a look at this, right? You're gonna start in this ordinary world. You're gonna have that call to go fulfill your dreams, but then you don't listen, and then you don't listen, and then you don't listen, and then one day, boom, something traumatic happens, and you feel like you hit rock bottom, or you have a near-death experience, and that is the time where you are having a life review. What am I doing with my life? And then when you decide to accept that call, it's going to lead you down this path into the supernatural realm, which this is when your third eye will start to open, your sixth sense, and you're going to start to be connected with higher energies, a higher frequency. And you're gonna start noticing all your old friends, the negative ones or the lower vibrational ones are gonna vibrate out of your life. And then as you go through this journey, you're gonna find who you're meant to be in this predestined journey, who you're predestined to be. So this whole thing, I honestly believe there's such thing as destiny, and we have a soul contract, which we're okay, Tammy, during this lifetime, you're going to be the light goddesses, right? You're going to find all these goddesses, you're going to work with crystals, and you're going to change the world through the light goddesses. I feel like that's my soul contract, that's my destiny. Everyone has their own contract. So I feel like a lot of you who are like, well, I'm scared to get a Moldavite. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't leave my job, right? I have a family to support. I don't have that freedom. All I'm going to say is you're on this path, right? You're on this journey. It's either you want it fast tracked or you want to take your time. You can either not fulfill your purpose in this lifetime, or you can get hit with like a near-death experience or a rock bottom, and to really, okay, now it's time, right? Honestly, circumstance out of control will have you fulfill your purpose. So it's really up to you. Do you want to fulfill your purpose now, or do you want to wait and drag it out even longer? So what this whole awakening process to me is like my old ego, who I created for myself all these years, had to die for me to be reborn into this new me, the light goddesses, the light goddess working crystals, and like this women empowerment movement, bringing back the goddess energy. So that is my soul contract in this lifetime. I don't know what yours is. I hope that makes sense. We are all in this together. You're all going through this awakening. We're all going through this ascension process. So you either have a choice. Do you want to accept your call now, or do you want to drag it out until you get that hit? Hey, it's time for you to answer your call, near death or rock bottom. So I hope that makes sense. Consider yourself getting a Moldavite if you want fast tracks, like, all right, I'm going to answer my call. It's time to fulfill my purpose. Or you want to sit around and wait. I hope that helps. That is all I have for you guys today. If you want to hear more about my awakening journey, how Moldavite works, make sure you subscribe to my channel in the link in the bio below. But that is all I have for you guys today. Timmy Doe, signing off.
Audio Jungle.